Hello there, planner friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's so nice to have you back. I appreciate all of you and thank you for coming to watch another video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about an update on my work bullet journaling. I did a video a few months ago. I'll link it in the card above to show you how I handle my work planning. It's not really changed a whole lot, although you'll see what I'm using right now is a little bit different than what I have used in the past. The system hasn't changed. Does that sound familiar? But the container has changed. So what you're looking at here is a Franken-planned Erin Condren notebook and Erin Condren monthly planner that I kind of put together, a productivity notebook and a monthly planner that I put together to use for work. In the past, I have used things like a bound book. This one is a Taroko Shop notebook that I used. I used these for several years. You can see this one was 2017 to 2018. I think I used these for about 4 years, and I really liked them. They worked well for me. Obviously, I used them for 3 years, but then I just kind of got tired of them and I wanted something different. So then I went into a spiral notebook. This is from Carolina Carolina Pad, and it's a noted notebook, and these are really nice. I really like these. They're close in size to the Erin Condren. You can see, I think they're about maybe a ½ an inch taller, but that's pretty close to the Erin Condren size. And they have, let's see if I can tell you, 100 sheets of paper, and the paper is really good quality, heavyweight paper. And it has the topic and the date at the top with like a little check mark. And I like these. They're not as easy to find locally for me, so I have to order them online, which means they're a little more expensive, but this one I used quite extensively. Okay, so sorry about that. I don't know where I got cut off. I had a phone call. I don't know what I was saying, but I know I was talking about this noted notebook and how much I like it. It's hard to find locally. I have to order these online, which makes them a little bit more expensive. But anyway, I was going to show you in the front, there's a calendar, which I use to mark product launches, things like that. And there were global holidays, which I thought was really nice. And then I just use this, as you can see, and I'll show you a little bit of this in a minute, but it's just messy notes that I used. So currently, let me just put this to the side. What I'm currently using, like I said in the very beginning of the video, is an Erin Condren Franken planner that I put together. I got a monthly planner that was on clearance or half price or one of their sales that they had not too long ago, and I put it together with a productivity notebook. I've used their productivity notebooks off and on for work over the last couple of years. I've either used that Carolina Pad notebook or an Erin Condren productivity notebook. So I knew I wanted to use one of those, but what I wanted to do in this situation was our corporate fiscal year runs June to May. So I got the half price monthly calendar, and I put in here all of the monthlies, which I'll show you in just a minute, from June to December. And so this will take me through the first half of my fiscal year. And then I'll probably, if this works and I'm happy with it, I'll probably order another monthly calendar for next year and do the same thing with the productivity notebook and have January to May for the second half of our fiscal year, or maybe December to May for the second half of my fiscal year. And then I'd have 2 notebooks. It's too much to put in one notebook because of all the note paper that I have. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing, how I've got this set up. I have 2 here, you'll see. This is the original, I think it was the productivity notebook coil, but I can't remember what coil this came off of. It might have been the monthly planner coil, but I took it apart, and when I got this, it was like, I think March, or yeah, I think it was March, might have been April, and I put together January through May, the last half of my fiscal year, in this notebook, and put some notes paper that I had been using at the time. So this is what I'm going to use to walk you through some of the more detailed examples of what I'm how I use this notebook, and then I'll show you a few things in here as well. Now, one thing to note, I work in product development for a company. I'm not going to be showing you, there's going to be a lot that's going to be blurred out because these are projects that are actively being worked in. I don't want to risk any confidentiality or anything like that. I may pull some examples from here and from the other notebook just because these are so far back that I can show you an example and I'm not going to violate privacy because most of the stuff's long been done, probably even sunsetted at this point. So let me show you what I'm doing in here. Let me move this out of the way. And like I said, I have the productivity notebook and the monthly calendar combined. So if you know anything about the Erin Condren planners, you get like a monthly. I took the other half of this and it's in the other notebook. And then you get your month at a glance, and then you also get a dashboard page, and I'll show you how I'm using this in just a few minutes. And so I have all the monthlies together. In this notebook, what I did was I had the monthly and some note pages, and then a monthly and then some note pages. And what I found was that there's no way to know month over month if I'm going to need 10 pages or 20 pages or 5 pages. It just depends on how busy things are, how many notes I take, how much I do digitally versus how much I write down. And so what I did differently when I moved into this is I have all the monthlies in the front and all of the notes pages behind a notes tab. So that's one thing that's different in this book versus this book. So let me just show you, actually, let me show you in this book what a monthly looks like, because in this one I was still figuring it out, and this one I've kind of got a rhythm down as to what I want to do. So for the month of June, which is where we are right now, I am using color coding. I love color coding. So I have some colored pens. I think these are the Inkjoy gel, if I remember correctly, that I'm using, and I've got things color coded. So yellow, which you probably can't see on camera, but yellow is out of office. So me or anybody that's on my team that's out of the office, I have on here in yellow so that I remember. Blog posts, we have a blog that we manage, so the blog posts are in pink. They're every Friday, so I put those in here. We manage a community, an online community, so we have member spotlights that we do, so those are in green. Anything specific to me personally is like a meeting or something like that is in blue. A podcast that I host, we release those every Tuesday, so you can see those are in teal. We have live events, those are in orange. Anything that's really important like evaluations, those are in red. And then anything related to mentoring or professional development is in this kind of dark teal, which actually is the current pen that I'm using for most all of my notes because I like that color. So no stickers, nothing fancy. Everything in here is all about business and getting things done. And I just don't have time to put stickers or really care. It would be distracting to me. So that's how this is, the monthlies are set up. On the second page, the dashboard page, what I'm doing is I have these 3 sections divided up into big projects. So these are things that are taking up the most time on my team. These are top priority tasks that I'm focused on personally for the month. And then these are other projects that may not be as important or take up as much time and attention, but they could be things that are coming in the future that I don't want to lose sight of, or things that we're wrapping up, one or the other end of that. And then down here, I'm going to be tracking statistics for our community, our podcast, and maybe some of the other outreach things that we do. Where are we at in terms of stats, the reach of the podcast, the membership in the community, things like that at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. And I think this will help me next year when I'm starting to work on my evaluations and things like that, because I can show the growth and have the statistics and all in one place. One thing that I have always struggled with to some degree in my role is at the end of the year, because so much of my work is project-based and my team's work is project-based, at the end of the year, it's like, gosh, what did we do this year? And what did I work on this year? And so I had somebody who was a little further ahead of me career-wise who taught me in my project notebook to keep a list like this of projects that I was working on, so that when I sat down to do my performance review, I could go, oh yeah, I launched that and I did this and I started that project and we did that. And then it's easy for you to have all the details to pull into your self-evaluation that you do. So that's what this is going to be. So these are really, things that are more like, almost like archival for me. What's coming for planning, looking ahead, but most of the calendar stuff is already in Outlook or somewhere like that. It's more in here for me for documentation purposes, so that at the end of the year when I'm doing evaluations, I have all of that. So you'll see here for this version, I was starting to kind of figure out what I wanted to do, but didn't have a whole lot of stuff in the calendar. So let me show you a couple of examples of how I use this. So it's really just train of thought as I'm in a call, as I'm working on things, and anything that's an action item I highlight. This is a kind of a peachy orange highlighter currently that I'm using, but I've always used some type of an orange highlighter to indicate tasks that I'm doing, and it's just a running list, meeting notes and things like that I'm working on. So you can see here, this was a meeting and I had a couple of actions that I had to do. Here's another meeting, here's a couple more actions, this was another meeting, and then over here I had a running to-do list. So I use this side of the productivity page usually for a running to-do list for the day, whatever day that I'm writing. And sometimes what I'll do actually is use this, which is a notepad from Erin Condren, and it's a sticky note notepad. So it's really nice because I can create my to-do list, stick it on the page, and then if I haven't finished everything on the list, I can just peel it up and move it to the next page and keep adding to it. Another thing that I do is this little box down here at the bottom. I use this to make notes of things that I want to talk to my boss or my VP about. I have weekly one-on-ones with them. And so this area on these post-it notes are great because I can use this area and go, okay, I need to talk to her about this. I need to get approval for that. I need to follow up with this. I need to ask them to escalate that. And if I just put a little note down here when I have my one-on-one with them each week, then I can remember the things that I wanted to talk to them about. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like day over day. Not a whole lot different. You'll see here a lot of stuff covered up, obviously for privacy reasons, but this was had a really detailed call with my VP, and these were all the projects we were working on, and so I was highlighted with a little green highlighter. The other thing I do, and I don't know if you can tell here, I'm trying to see where things I can show you. Let me show you this other book. So I can show you in here easier. And I've mentioned this in other calls, but you will notice, see, here's the orange highlighter of things that needed to be done. And the other thing you'll see is that everything in August was this kind of fluorescent orange. July was a teal. And if I go back even further, April was one color. Let's see. So you can see April was purple. February was blue. And I started January was blue, and then I moved February to pink. That's why you'll see there's this pink line underneath, so I knew February started here. And so my point is that I use color coding on my pages of my date as well, so that at a glance I can see what month I was in, and as I'm flipping back through, know exactly when the month changed. You can see, there's all these things that are in orange that were things I needed to do, where I took notes in meetings. And it's funny because I really like keeping these. Like, this is from 2016, 17 and 18. I have these back as far as 2015. I even have some back even further than that when I was brand new in my job. And I just used to use a plain old spiral notebook you get at Walmart then. That was back before I knew about all the fancy papers and things you could get in the planner world. This is one from 2021, I think. Yeah, 2020, 2021. So I did the same thing in here. I highlighted by my months. I had my things that were to do highlighted. And in this case, I crossed things out with a blue highlighter. Here's my checklist of things to do. So that's pretty much what I do. One thing that I do differently now as a manager versus an individual contributor, which I'm not going to show, but one thing I do now is I have a page in the back of my notebook, and like I said, I'm not going to show it now, but it would be in the back of my notebook, and I divide my page into quadrants, and I have a quadrant for each person that works on my team, as well as my upline management. And in those quadrants is where I put projects that I want to talk with them about, or things that, especially my staff, like I said, I use this typically for my managers, but for my staff, and I write it in the quadrants, and that way if I'm thinking about something on Tuesday that I want to talk to somebody about, and my one-on-one with them isn't until Friday, I have my list, and when I get into the call with them on Friday and I have my one-on-one, I can remember the things that I wanted to talk with them about. Whether it's something that I wanted to get a status update on, something I wanted to share with them about a strategy change, whatever it is, and I just put it there. And then in some cases I'll just do it like in the flow of the week. I'll just flip to a blank page and do it, and in some cases I'll flip to the back of the book. It typically depends on privacy or confidentiality or something like that. Also, in the back of the Erin Condren notebook are these pockets, and I use these to stick things that I print out, whether it's a PowerPoint or an org chart or things like that. I'll stick them back here in this pocket, so I have this with me. I haven't used this part, which is supposed to be like a dry erase board. I haven't used that yet. I've been considering it, but I don't know what I would use it for, so I haven't used that yet. But yeah, that's my my bullet journaling system, so to speak, in various different notebooks. And currently, right now, like I said, I'm using this Erin Condren Franklin Planner for my work notebook. The thing that I like about this versus this, whether it's the Carolina pad or the Erin Condren, is that I can flip it around on itself. And when I'm working, I only have, that to deal with, whereas this takes up a lot more desk space to write in. The nice thing about this is it's portable, and when I was traveling more frequently for work, I could put this in a nice, like I had a Gilio cover, and I could slip this in and it looks really nice and professional. I have a lot of the interchangeable covers for Erin Condren, so I do have a couple that I would consider somewhat professional, but I don't know what I'll do if I end up having to travel for meetings. I may leave this home and take something like this, or I may just rock the multicolored cover or something similar, and just embrace who I am and be me. Why not, right? So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions about how I handle my work bullet journaling or project management at work or anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I would be more than happy to do another video talking about some of those other details. Like I said, I work in product development, and project management is 90% of my job. And so, whether it's launching a new product, whether it's building a community, whatever, I spend a lot of time managing projects this way. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like to see in regards to my work planning. And I hope you're all doing well. Talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by.